Yo, welcome back to the third installment of my command line series. So today we're going to be going to the networking side of the command line. In my previous videos, or my first video, I'll show you guys how to navigate the file system, how to create a folder, how to delete a folder, how to view the contents of a file, how to create a file, etc., etc. On my second video, we went through system information, right? So we get to view, the users, the processes running, the version number of Linux, etc., etc. Today we're going to be going through the networking side. Obviously, as we know, the networking side is important. We get to view things like the IP address, the router IP, the ports that are open, maybe sniff some packets to see what our computer's communicating with, etc., etc. Right? So let's start off with the basic, simple ifconfig. So this pretty much shows us what our IP address is. And again, I'm not afraid to show my IP address because there's so many people who use the same IP address and people don't know. Private IP addresses are shared, and I'm gonna show you why. Here, as you see, there are over or close to 5 billion unique IP addresses. If I had to guess how many devices are connected to the internet, I would say there's easily over 10 billion. And we're talking about, cars, we're talking about, smart refrigerators, computers, tablets, cell phones, blah, 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 right? There's 7 billion humans. There has to be 20 billion devices connected on the internet. Again, there's only close to 5 billion unique IP4 addresses. So, what ISP companies do is that they share a lot of the IP addresses. It's the public ones that are unique and only are allowed by the ISP to communicate with the world. So, in other words, this unique IP address could be assigned to, Google's infrastructure, etc., etc. But let me give you another example. So to fix that issue of too many, not enough IP addresses on IP4, they invented the IP6 protocol. As you can see, I don't know what you call that number, a quadrillion, gazillion, bazillion, helium. There is definitely not more than 1 trillion devices connected to the internet, which is right about that. Let alone, I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy how creative humans get to try to solve issues, especially in computing. But anyway, back to what I was saying. So, if you think you're gonna track me down by my IP address, that is funny. But that's just a little nugget for people. You can't always be tracked by an IP address. Usually what happens is that hackers get caught because of their cell phone number more than anything, because as we know, our cell phone houses all our information, and it's in fact, you could say that a cell phone is essentially a part of you. It's like a personality of you. So your cell phone number, that's how they track you. You know what I mean? Especially when you sign up, you give them your cell phone number. That's all they need. They don't need your IP address. That's how a lot of these bozos get caught. Anyway, so let's go back to our command line, or excuse me, our networking thing. So we already went through ifconfig. As you see here, this is our networking card, which is the wireless one. If you use an external one, it'll usually show up as WLAN 0. So again, my IP address, and then the IP6 address. And then low is the home IP, and then the Ethernet, which I don't remember the last time I've used an Ethernet cable to connect to my router, honestly. But obviously I don't have it's not connected. The MAC address, which is important as well. And then MAC address, yada yada yada, right? So now we're gonna view a more colorful IPA, which I prefer. I kind of like this one better than ifconfig, and I'll show you why. IPA, again, it's a more colorful version of it. It shows us, colored our IP address, IP6 address, a little bit more colorful, right? And again, if you really want to remember the commands, I would always recommend people type it 3 times. IPA, so clear that out. Alright. So now we're going to go for IWconfig. I'm not going to put this on here just because I don't want to give out my routers, what's that, ESSID, BESSID, or the name of the router, Like when you go to McDonald's and you try to use the Wi-Fi, when you connect to their, the router, the name of it is McDonald's, right? Or if there's like a Taco Bell next to it, that'll be Taco Bell. So that's the broadcasting name of the router. But IWconfig is specifically more for wireless cards. So it'll show like wireless information. If I click on this, it'll show the router name that I connected to, and then the IP address to it, right? So if I have an external Wi-Fi antenna connected, it'll also show the information for that. So IWconfig, remember that, click on it. So on this one, ping is a program used to send an ICMP packet or request to a computer to check if it's alive. So that's, in other words, it's like communicate. It's like saying hello to a human and they respond hi. So it's like there's an acknowledgement there, right? So ping is a program to check if you're connected to the internet. So ping personally to me is one of my favorite ways to check that I'm connected. So I'm gonna use the amount of packets that I'm gonna send, which is 1. This is the flag. Ping the program, the amount of packets I'm gonna send. I'm gonna use Google. If we're connected to the internet, it should show the IP address of it, which it did. You see, our DNS server, so our IP address, the protocol, ICMP, I was telling you, time to live, time, that's how long it took, and then 1 packet transmitted, 1 packet received, 0 packet loss. So if you weren't connected to the internet, this will show 100% packet loss, and then this will show 0. So let's do another example. This time let's change it up to 3, and let's do ESPN. Again, I'm a sports guy, so I'm going to use that as an example. So you can see, right? Oh wow, looks like we had one of the packets drop. So as you can see, you can only see 2, right? Even though I said 3, so 3 packets transmitted. Whoops. So as you can see, 3 packets transmitted, 2 received, so 33% packet loss time. So something happened with one of the packets, but we're still connected to the internet, obviously, because the majority of the packets still connected. And sometimes, honestly, on the internet, a lot of the packets will get lost, or something happens, or maybe one of the routers took too many requests and it just dropped it. You know what I mean? Because computers will do that. They'll drop requests when they're being overloaded. So that's normal. So let's clear this out. So the second one is netstat with the flag TULN. So that listens for the ports. So when your computer communicates with the internet, it opens up a port, and then that server on the internet sends the information to this port. So netstat flag TULNP. Let me expand this. So as you can see here, right? I'm not surprised Firefox is showing up, because that's doing the majority of the talking to the internet. And then these Python ones, I don't know, be real, I don't know exactly what they're doing, but let's do a quick Google search if it brings back anything. I doubt it's harmless. It might be the command line, because Python, a good chunk of the code or programs written are in Python. But let's see what Google brings back. What do Python UPS trash? I doubt it's any kind of malware. I don't do anything dumb like that. So I'm having a strange problem with Python UPS sockets. Sockets have ports of both ends. This really didn't give me any information on it. Anyway, so it's some. I'm pretty sure it's some. It's a safe program. I doubt it's anything bad. So let's do this. Let's clear that out again. Maybe this is a great way maybe for you guys. You guys should use this to see what the heck is running. You know what I mean? On your computer again. You know why I did this? Because my Google request. That's why it's showing a lot more. So let's do this. I don't know what the heck's going on. Let me see. Netstat. So the reason it's showing a lot more because of Firefox. I'm using it to connect to the internet. So let's do this. DuckDuckGo.com. It might bring up even more. So let's do the same thing. Didn't really bring up much more. Active internet connections, only servers. Alright, let's go back to our notes. So our next one is going to be SSL with tunnel, which is a faster netstat alternative. Interesting. Let's click on it. Looks like it doesn't show the program names, but it's showing everything. UDP protocol, obviously our IP address, our broadcasting address, IPv6, our network interface name. So let me clear this out. I mean, it didn't give me anything too revealing. So let's go to our next one. So traceroute. So this is one of actually my favorite commands because it shows where the packet that you're sending the internet travels through. So as you know that when you communicate with a domain or a game server or something, your packet is traveling through your router, through another router, through another router, and this other router, and another router, another router, another router, another router, another router, and then our destination, back to our home router, which gives us the information, right? So we're gonna use that command traceroute for yahoo.com. As you can see here, this is the IP address of our router, which is hopping to this one, which is hopping to this one, which is hopping to this one, to this one, to this one, to this one, this one. So our yahoo.com requests travel through all of these routes to end up here, and then this will send us back our request back to our home router, to our IP address, right? Which again, you bring up by doing this. Boom. So let's do traceroute. Let's do Google this time. As you can see here, right? Boom, 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 boom. Here, boom, 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 back, right? So there's actually other ways to track what your internet connection talks to, and then I'm gonna get deep into that soon, which is the TCP dump. The interface device, and then WLAN 0, so you get to see what your computer's talking to, right? So obviously it's communicating with something right now, and I'm pretty sure 100% it has to do with this. actually with the song that it's playing. As you can see, right? So let's clear this out. Let's go back to this. So dig, right? So domain name system lookup. So that's what we're gonna do. Domain dig. Dig google.com. As you know, a domain name system is a computer that hosts data of a specific domain. So if you go to Google, ESPN, Yahoo.com, all the data, all the HTML code, all the CSS code, all the shit that you see on a website is hosted on a domain name system. So for Google, all that information is being held here, as you see here, right? So answer section, name server, so they're hosting all this shit on here. Server, yada yada. So let's do one for Yahoo. So the same thing for this one, alright? Here. And a lot of the information is being held here as well with these unique IP addresses. So let me clear that out. So dig is a very useful tool to see the DNS information of a site. So obviously now we're going to use nslookup and then the target nslookup Google. So obviously that's our IP address and then the name of the place, the IP address of it, name, and the IPv6 address. That's some useful information right there. Let me see. And then the whois command. This one shows you who registered a domain. Again, Google's a domain, ESPN's a domain, Yahoo's a domain. So whois Google. It shows you, you know, the date it was registered, you know, where it was registered. It's actually a great way to find out information on a phishing site. I don't know if you guys have ever gotten like a phishing web page that said, hey, you know, you owe, you know, $30 to the, you know, USPS, but the domain is like USPS ZZY dot India or something like that, right? So whois information is a great way to always look up any domain registered on the internet. Some will do private, but the majority of it is honestly public. So whois is a very great tool to find out who a website is registered to, right? It doesn't matter again what the website is. So whois and then the domain, blah 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 blah. So as you see here, right? So the domain is google.com, registry ID, where the host of the hosting site. You know how there's like GoDaddy.com that sells like domains and other ones like that. So Mark Monitor is the domain seller to Google. Updated date 2019. The creation 1997. That's crazy. So Google was created in 1997. Wow, imagine being the early dude who like figures it out. You're like, man, you know what? I should invest in Google, you know? They might be something one day. And then here, this email, remember this, in whois, it'll show up, I think in every whois command lookup, it'll always show up. This here is a great email address to report a phishing site or shady sites or some site that'll host stuff they're not supposed to. So always email them, right? And then email them your domain. Or sometimes they have a phone number, as you can see here. You know, you can call it up. Hey, you know, this domain, you know, it's obviously not the official, you know, United States Post Office. How could, you know, and you guys need to take it down because, you know, there's a lot of people who are going to fall for these scam and and pay and put their credit card information down when they're not supposed to. So that's that, right? And then other stuff right here, I can, you know what I mean? The name servers, again, these host Google's information. So let me see, there's more down here. More of the same. Oh, the location, California. Obviously, Google's located in California, United States. More of the names, more of the same. Name server. So now let's do a who is for Yahoo.com. Let's see what that is. Alright, let's check it out. So Yahoo.com, they have the same domain host. Wow, it's actually even older. 1995, that was a creation date. It's been updated 2024. The name servers, blah 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 blah. Blah 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 blah, right? So let's clear that out. Just keep looking on, and I'm actually gonna make a video on this nmap. I'll make a completely different in-depth video on this tool, but we're gonna use the simple. Honestly, I like using this one because I get to know what devices are connected to my network, which I use the ICMP protocol flag. So let me see, let me do this. Nmap, SN flag, and there's that. Let's see what devices are connected to my device. My network. This might take a while, so just give me a second. As you can see, my network connection is super beefed up, and it's actually lying by filling up every IP address with the same one. So that's a great way to keep a network protected. And there's a bunch of routers that come with great firewalls that'll just fill in the other IP addresses with fake ones, like virtual devices, until an actual device connects. It'll replace it. So again, I'm gonna make a video on the nmap one, so tune in for that. So yeah, you know what, I think we went through all of this right here in detail. So alright guys, thanks for watching. I'm gonna make the fourth one soon, so take care.